Hey everyone, this is Landon Brown here, and I am just super excited to share with you guys some of the work I've been able to kind of knock out with this final push for the Sock Puppet AI project so far. Um, I wanted to quickly touch base and kind of just uh, let it serve as a reminder of where this has been coming from so far. Um, so a lot of it has to do with the stories I've been telling my daughter. Um, Almost every night or every other night, we're reading bedtime stories or we're thinking about, ways that we could imagine stuff or feel stuff or see stuff in these stories and make it more real, make it more interactive. Um, and I realized how much my daughter loves stories, loves narrative, but also how much she just really loves our dogs and loves our pets. And so um, part of what I wanted to achieve with this project, with this idea was I really wanted to be able to create sock puppets that could represent our dogs that could help tell Adeline stories if she was looking at the screen as something kind of funny. Not as a babysitter, not as a way of like pacifying, but just kind of something that she could look at and have fun with. So that was the heart behind the project. At the last check-in, this is kind of where I was at. So using these very standing kind of characters and just trying out the basics of the programming and trying out MediaPipe for the first time. And I was pretty excited with it. It was coming to a good spot. But at the end of it, this was the kind of prototype that existed. Okay. As you can see, there's some issues there with the mouth kind of moving beyond the top portion of the mouth. The eyeballs are kind of just one component of those is working. Um, in this iteration, the eyeball followed the kind of index finger, and there was a way to kind of swap between different puppets in the top left corner. It was okay. It was definitely more than I was imagining, but it wasn't perfect. And so part of that for me involved kind of reading through what Prof. Miller was saying about hands-free swapping and kind of some of his suggestions there. I tried looking at the moving average part as well, but after kind of playing around with P5 J's, I kind of just decided to stick it out with vanilla JavaScript instead, just because it seemed more intuitive to me, coding wise, seemed to work smoother. So definitely want to continue to look into that if this project continues to develop in the future. But um, for now, the vanilla was doing a pretty good job for what I was wanting to see once I fine tuned some of the stuff. So I definitely appreciate his help with the hands-free shot swapping. And so, with that in mind, the final kind of presentation of this project, um, first and foremost, starts with refined characters. So, like I said, those last couple of characters um, in the program, I'm calling them Saki and Gabo, are stand-ins. They were just kind of test dummies, lack of a better term, test socks, I guess. And so what I want to do is say, okay, how can I make these look more like our dogs? How can I stylize them, make them abstracted, but also make them look like something that my daughter would recognize? And so this is the new Gabi. It's based off of our Rook or our dog Rook, and his kind of colorings and his markings. And then uh, our second puppet that we have joining us is Saki, who is based off of our other dog Raleigh. And the two of them make her laugh so hard. They love to just kind of jump around where she's at, lick her, give her kisses, all that fun stuff. So she is just obsessed with our dogs. So this coloring wise looks pretty close to our dogs. So there's him jumping around my screen. So after I got these kind of refined characters, um, I wanted to take them into the site and kind of refine some of the programming. Um, and so here's kind of the final batch of code that I was kind of working with then. Some key things that I found different was I didn't really like the all white background, so I swapped it out for a canvas. So now there's well, it's all being drawn on a canvas, but now there's a background canvas that it's sitting on. Um, the other key kind of differences that have happened since the last checkpoint, I separated the left and the right eye, so those are separate components. I did take away the tracking of the index finger just because it was seemed like it was overcomplicating things and leading to a jarring kind of experience as a whole. I adjusted the position of that bottom mouth portion so that the jaw felt more natural and wasn't separating or going way up above, both in the illustration and in the position where it's drawn on canvas. Um, and then I added a slight kind of jiggle and rotation effect to the eyes in relation to the wrist position, and also developed a way for the puppet to follow along with the position of my wrist on the screen. So, um, and the final component, and kind of the last thing I was thinking about when I was kind of exploring this was how can I lean into the hands-free swapping? And at first, it was that thumbs up would switch to Saki and the peace sign would switch to Gabo. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that coming up with a very unique expression or gesture for each character, if I wanted to expand this at any point, would be not ideal. And so instead of that, what I've done is I've set up a way to infinitely toggle between however many puppets I could add their names here too. That would be in this list. So right now, if I just hold up the peace sign, it'll swap in between Saki and Gabo and back and forth. Um, those are some of the key features I want to make you guys aware of. But let's just jump into the project itself now. Um, so, like I said, first and foremost, I wanted to add a background, add more context. I was thinking a lot of old puppet shows and how those kind of were puppet theaters, sock puppet theaters. So I was kind of pulling on inspiration from that with the curtain kind of motifs. But here goes nothing because this is the new improved characters and puppets that exist. I also had a lot of exploration with tweaking the immensity of the animations to my movement because at first I would really have to exaggerate my movement to get it to work, but now um, just a little bit of movement's able to really move that jaw a lot further along than before. So I can kind of just use it to say whatever I want to say with it now. Um, and it doesn't have to be over exaggerated, or it can just be a little slighter. So nothing super crazy, but the dog's bottom jaw is controlled by how far apart my two fingers here are from my thumb. So the further apart they are, the more open that mouth is. I could sit here and yap away without adding a story. Um, but if there's ever a point where there needs to be another character, now with the hands-free gesture swapping, so if I just throw up my peace sign, I can swap between Sako and Gabi. So now we're back on to Gabi here. And you can kind of see um, the rotation that's happening between the two there. It's kind of filtering. And a lot of that has to do with the way it's reading fingers based on media pipe. And so there's kind of a countdown that has to take place before it can swap back. So that is something that I want to continue to refine as it moves along, as it develops. But for this final iteration, the ability to do hands-free swapping was important to me, and so this worked out pretty well. Um, Same kind of functionality here of being able to open and close. Gabo's jaw, or Rook's jaw, I guess you could say too. And like I said, that kind of jiggle and rotation animation with the eyeballs as it moves back and forth for this. So now I can have them kind of dancing along the screen if I want to, and talking, and then I can swap characters back. And yeah, that's essentially the gist of the project. So thank you guys for coming to join the Sock Puppet Show. And I'm actually excited to continue to keep exploring this outside of class to see if this could be something that actually could be something I use as a storytelling aid for my kids. So yeah, or my kid right now. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by, and I'm so excited to see how you wrapped yours up too. So have a great rest of your night.